This is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. I really appreciate you joining me today, and this is a follow-up to a story that I covered last year. Callum Halpin was wanted by the police from 2018 until 2022, and he fled to Portugal. Video footage that was shown last year of the moment that he was arrested in Portugal and then extradited back to the UK to face charges. He has now been jailed for 30 years for his involvement in the murder of Luke Graham in a gang war across the streets of Manchester.
When I walk up in this bitch looking like I'ma start something, bogarting and barging through, no excuse me, no pardon me. I came to steal the show, and you can call it grand larceny, but I bet I get away smooth, cause Gully Bones outside, and he already got the car running door jar for me.
4 men have already been jailed for their involvement in this murder, and Wade Cox was the shooter, and he was jailed for a minimum of 36 years. But this week, Callum Halpin has been sentenced to 30 years for his involvement in the conspiracy. And I'm sure a lot of people will be confused as to how somebody can get 30 years for murder that they didn't commit. And this is all to do with how you conduct yourself before and after the incident happens. Callum must have conspired in some way to be involved in this case, and also didn't tell the police straight away what had happened. And this, in the eyes of the prosecution, is as good as conspiracy. Callum was extradited back to the UK, and they said in the court trial that Tank was the man that they shot down. His name was Luke Graham, and another man called Anton Verigotta. The shooting occurred in Ashton-under-Lyne on the 13th of June 2018, and 2 young girls were seen running away from the scene after Wade Cox came out of the house and opened fire. They learnt in the trial that this was a setup, and Luke Graham was lured to the scene by drug addicts who were pretending they wanted to buy drugs. Luke had fell out with Wade Cox due to the fact that he was selling drugs in the same area, and they believed that they were treading on each other's toes. When Luke Graham arrived at the property at 10 to 5, Cox burst out of the house and began shooting. Local residents were left terrified when the violence broke out on the street, and mothers had to grab their children to run inside. The police launched a whole operation in order to convict everybody that was involved, and Callum was on the most wanted list until January 2022. He was eventually arrested in Portugal last May and then returned to the UK. Detective Inspector Lee Barrow from the Manchester Police CID said Halpin was a very dangerous individual and is brought to justice. The murder of Lee was carried out in a residential street, and children had to run for cover because of the shooting. Callum went on the run since Luke was fatally shot, and our intention ever since was to bring him to justice for what occurred. The police thanked the National Crime Agency and also the Portuguese police for making the arrest and also the extradition. Mr. Graham's father said in an impact statement that Luke and his murder will be part of our life forever. I was left numb and I still miss him. Just before he was murdered, he'd passed his driving test, and his father said that he felt this was a turning point for his son. Luke was a loving son, father and brother, and he was always there for his family and friends. He was the type of person who would go out of his way for anybody, and we are broken as a family. We can't believe that he's gone and he's been taken from us in such a cowardly act of violence. During the sentencing, the judge said that they were part of an organised crime group and they were selling Class A drugs and were doing so to vulnerable people in the local area on a daily basis. Collectively, everybody involved was jailed for 56 years. So I really appreciate everybody that has followed this story on the channel for the past year, and I send my condolences to the family of Tank and his friends. A lot of people paid tribute to him on social media, and he definitely meant a lot to his family. And my condolences also to his daughter, who sadly will not grow up to see her father. I really appreciate you joining me for this story. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news.